What's up, guys? We're gonna beatz. Tell me to show you guys how to make some HYPERPOP melodies or beats. If you do end up enjoying the video, make sure you do hit that sub button and turn post notifications on so you don't miss a video. With that being said, let's go ahead and get started. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with our melody. So for our scale, I would say go major, but honestly, I think we can go with a minor. Now I'm gonna go C sharp minor because that should be nice for our bass, because I kind of like subby stuff, so I think that'll be decent. And if we need to transpose, we can. So for our sound, it's just a custom sound, okay, and it's kind of like a synthy pluck. So I'll be renaming these as we go through, so you can kind of know what type of sound to pick. Let's go in here. So what we're gonna do first is just make a little bass line, okay. So where's our C? Here we are. Let's go here, and pretty much what we can do is you can make a chord upward like this if you want to. But this will be a little bit more difficult to get that sound that you want. So what I like to do is kind of make a dyad upwards and then make a dyad backwards. And I tend to do this all the time through my stuff, but obviously you can choose whatever notes, and then you can kind of put in an extra note, you know, kind of in between. And then we can just slide these out. Okay, just super generic pattern. And then we're just gonna offset it. So if you hold shift and then you can drag these, you can kind of drag them a little off. And actually, I'm gonna shrink these like that so it's not so shrunk. And I'm gonna offset these like that. Okay, so that is our bass line. So let's go in. I'm gonna try to do this all in one. And pretty much what we're gonna do now is just kind of make a melody on top. Now we could use tricks like this and stuff, pull this up, shift D, right? And then you can kind of make a chord out of this, right? And then you can connect them. And then if you want to, you can take this even further, right? Since this E is the same here, okay, you could pull this over and you can find another note that you want. And that is just something you could do, okay? Pretty simple. And I'm gonna just keep this just because we already have it. All right, super simple stuff. And just to kind of redo it, we could do it over here. You can make a chord, right? And pretty much if it works on this octave, so G♯4, this note will work up here, okay? And that's pretty much like an easy way you can kind of use your ear and still like know that you're getting something that sounds good. Hopefully that wasn't too much. So yeah, you can kind of mess around with some of these notes. Let's offset these since we already have them. Then we can kind of bring some over. Let's make a chord out of this note. Okay, so we're just making a chord. You can see. Let's. And then we can just drag some of these other notes over. And then I'm gonna go to the 1/4 beat, and then we can just do a pattern like this, okay? And then I'm gonna do that same pattern over here, but then we're just gonna change the notes. Okay, I like this. I'm gonna keep it. I'm not sure if I went too fast in the first part, but yeah, that's pretty much how you do it. You know, if you just want to use your ears. So remember, you make your chord, and then you can just literally pull those up and just fill in the gaps, okay? So what we're gonna do real quick is I'm gonna just make a quick chord out of this part. So we're just gonna make a chord like this, and then if you just keep these going up, you can kind of delete one of these. Just pull over some of these tones. Okay. And now we have some decent little chords just for like a low part. So that is our entire melody. We don't really need to add anything else. Let's go ahead and move on to our next part. All right, now real quick before we move on, I do want to re-explain this because I didn't really say anything when I was making them. So pretty much these are all just the same chords, right? So well, not the same chords, but they all are in harmony. So I just instead of doing the steps with you, I just kind of skip through it. So I'm gonna just redo it here. So you can see that all these are in one. And if you look here, all these notes are in the same chord. And I just deleted some because if you take the top notes and you move them down, they're suspended second chords. Okay. And the same thing over here. I just forgot to actually explain it as I was making it. So yeah, those are the chords. So what I want to do is try and see if we can cheat a bit and just paste some of these down and see which one sounds good. That's my bass. So this is the sound here. It's kind of a very like cold and harsh sound. So we can just like a chord. Oops. So that's the type of sound. And then I believe this is it's a pad. Okay. And then we have a soft pad. So that's the sound that you can pick. Let's see what this sounds like. Okay, I think that sounds good personally. I'm gonna rename this real quick so it just looks better. All right, so now we can go ahead and move on to this and we can just kind of create the rest of our melody. All right, so next up we have a lead, right? So I went ahead and labeled it for you. So it should be in mono. I mean, if you want it in mono, but it sounds pretty good when you put it in mono. So here we just have some of these muted. I'm gonna steal these top notes up here, right? So we have something to start with, so we don't start with a blank canvas. And then we can literally just hold shift and move some of these over. Let's copy this over, pull it down, and then let's maybe try pulling this all the way up. And then let's just copy this over. Eat it. You see all this comes full circle. I'm just showing you this so that you know how all this is connected. I don't want to skim over anything, so I'm just trying to make sure I mention everything. All right, let's see. This sounds like. Okay, I really like that. So now we're gonna go ahead and do our bass. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so now we're on to our bass. Now this is gonna be slightly different because we're actually gonna integrate this into the melody. Okay, so I don't think I've shown this before. So this is just the bass I have right here. Okay, so this is a type of sound, just a synth bass with some distortion on it. So there's some things you want to remember with this. So you want to remember at the point at which your melody, your bass line changes. So we're gonna copy this over. Okay. And then you want to remember where like the 808 patterns for bounce are at. So if you don't know where these are at, I'm gonna just show you exactly where they at. So this is pretty much where these patterns will be, and this is consistent all the way through. So you want to remember this, right? So if you want to make a pattern here, and you can also go in between. Okay, so something like this. So if you do want to play around with some stuff, you got to make sure that these notes stay along the bass line somewhat. Okay, so those are some things we want to remember, and then you just kind of have fun and play around with it. I probably should have kept those notes in there. So actually, let's offset. And I'm gonna shift D, pull that up, pull this back down. I gotta remember what note, so A and then B. Okay, and then I remember the C sharp here, and then we can bring the E. Oops, bring the E back over. Make sure it's in the right spot. Okay, and then just drag these back over. Probably start. Just gonna have a little bit of fun. So we're gonna do a triplets because we did the triplets right here. So we're gonna do the same type of triplet. You can see we're in 1/4. Okay. So this triplet is gonna be a little different. It's gonna be like this rather than using the 1/3 grid. Okay. And we can just pull these up. Okay, and then we can copy this whole thing over, and I'm gonna just add a few other notes. And I really like doing this with my basses, so I like to pull this up and then pull one down. Kind of has a nice little feel. All right, so that is our bass, and we can probably pull this down maybe. Let's listen to the whole thing. All right, I like that so far, so let's go ahead and add our drums in. All right, so at this point, we can kind of just breeze through everything. So I might fast forward through some of the 808, but I'm sure we just, you already know how to do this. So we just paste this in. Now with the synth bass and 808, don't worry too much about them clashing because you can just, and I'll just show you, you can just kind of like pull one up an octave, or you can just delete a note. You can see they kind of mesh together anyway, especially if they're on the same note. Let's, I don't know, let's. And just play around with the basses together, okay? So I'm gonna just fast forward through the rest of this and just kind of make my own little pattern. All right, so this is what I have, and then I'll just play it from here because the only thing I did different was pull this up an octave. All right, so that is the bass. So now we can start our drums. All right, so now we're just gonna run through the drums. I'm gonna try to keep it very simple, just to save time, because I mean it's not really focused on drums, but. I'm gonna keep this one real simple. I don't think we need to overdo it because we have way too many, well, not drums, but melodies going on. Let's add like a little roll. So we're gonna do 1/6, okay, for the grid. And then right here, what we can do is add in like a little, see what that sounds like. Probably need to move it over. I wonder if we could play around with this a little bit more. Let me see. Actually, let's do the step. Kind of like the step. Okay, I like that a lot better. So I think we could throw in probably a few more. one right here, just to kind of spread it out. Okay, I think that's good enough. Okay, we can obviously push it way more. Like, we don't even have effects or anything on this, so obviously you could take this to a whole new level, but I like it. So let's play the whole thing. And that's gonna be it for this video. Hopefully it was helpful. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.